Hey everyone, it's Aaron from God a Minute, and I'm just gonna talk, and maybe I'll share some screenshots later. I got all these notes. I kind of feel like a mad scientist. I wrote out all the letters of the Hebrew alphabet with all their definitions, and so I've got my own little note thing here, and I've got this other thing with the Hebrew alphabet, and this other Hebrew alphabet, and this other printed off like a bunch of pages. Okay, why have I printed off all these letters? Because I think we're going to find God's secrets hidden in the Hebrew alphabet. Like I said, this is going to be like a scattered video. I got charts all over the place. I look like a mad scientist around here. I don't want to show you my floors. But here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to say stuff, and then I'll just maybe have more organized videos after this. Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 8 is clearly talking about the second coming. All right? So we have Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 8. Let me read it to you. Let me go find it, and then we'll go from there. I'm going to share the screenshot of the image later, and there it is. Okay, so Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 8. We did a live stream on this like last night, or 2 nights ago, whenever it is. Therefore, wait for me, says the Lord, until the day I rise up for plunder. My determination is to gather the nations to my assembly of kingdoms, to pour on them my indignation, all my fierce anger. All the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. Okay, clearly the second coming. Clearly the second coming. And then on verse 9 it says, for then I will restore to the people a pure language, that they all may call on the name of the Lord. And my guess and my suspicion is that it's Hebrew. Well, according to this website, which I'll try and put a picture here, but Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 8 apparently is the only verse, either in the Bible or the Old Testament, probably the Old Testament, that has all 22 original Hebrew letters in this verse. So verse 9 seems to be indicating that we're going to restore ourselves back to the Hebrew language after the second coming. Now, in the center of this verse, Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 8, we have this word. And my bro Nick was helping me out he was getting some information from a Jewish guy, and that seemed to know, or at least a guy that speaks Hebrew. I don't know if he's Jewish, sorry. But a guy that has the insight, and he just clarified that it means to pour on judgment, more or less. So this particular word, it's got 4 letters. I'm going to try and zoom in or whatever, do a little picture here. But it consists of 4 letters, and there's a lamed, and there's a kaf. Okay, on the outside of the word, and on the inside of the word, there's a shin, and then there is a pei. So the kaf and the lamed on the outside, we've got a 20, 30. And on the inside, a kaf representing 20 has the value of 20, and a lamed has the value of 30, and a shin has the value of 300, and a pei has the value of 80. All right. So, but what do these words mean? A kaf means a palm of the hand, and a 30, which is the lamed, means a staff. So in other words, it's almost like the Good Shepherd will be holding a staff in 2030. It's possible that God has given a secret clue that the second coming still might be 2030. But what do the other 2 letters mean? The pei and the shin. Well, the pei is a mouth or an opening to command, speak, open, a beginning, to blow, breath, that kind of thing. Shin is teeth, ivory, point of a rock, a peak, to devour, consume, destroy. So if I was to translate these 4 Hebrew letters in the center of Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 8, which is talking about the second coming and God's judgment. But if you just take those 4 letters by themselves, it's almost saying this: the great shepherd is going to take his staff and put it in the palm of his hand at his second coming and breathe and bring judgment over his enemies and consume and destroy. And also shin is another word for El Shaddai. So it's almost like saying El Shaddai is coming as the shepherd and putting the shepherd in the palm of his hand to breathe and destroy his enemies. Well, Revelation 19, what does it say? He's going to destroy his enemies with the breath of his mouth, with the pei. And he's going to crush his enemies at that point. He's going to bring judgment, and the Good Shepherd is coming. So is it all hidden in that one little word in the center of this Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 8, which has all the 22 letters in the alphabet? I know I'm talking fast. I'm excited. I have lots of other verses I can share. In Exodus, it talks about 430 years, and the value of this word is 430 years, the word I'm talking about, which I believe means pour on judgment or pour on wrath. And so the value is 430 years. And in verse 40 it says, this is Exodus chapter 12, verse 40. Now the sojourn of the children of Israel who lived in Egypt was 430 years. And it came to pass at the end of the 430 years, on that very same day, it came to pass, all the armies of the Lord went out from the land of Egypt. So 430 years according to Exodus chapter 12, verse 40. The word in the center of this, somewhat in the center of this, Zechariah 3, verse 8, which is talking about a second coming, it has a value of 430 based on the 4 Hebrew letters. Again, it's a kaf, it's a lamed, it's a pei, and it's a shin. And that's one thing that I wanted to say. And a couple other things too that I'll just toss in this video is, why do we care about the Hebrew alphabet? Because it's God's language. It's what he wrote the Old Testament in. I'm going to try and insert a picture here. Jerusalem, there's 3 central valleys, and there's a shin in the footprint of Jerusalem. So shin meaning El Shaddai, it's basically saying that he's put his name on the city. It says that in Deuteronomy 16 that instructs the Jews to celebrate the Pesach at the place the Lord will choose as a dwelling place for his name. It looks like God, or Jesus, put his name, his El Shaddai, his handprint on the city of Jerusalem. Whoa. Okay, another cool thing is shin is in the shape of our heart. In our body, we've got a heart, and in shin, you can kind of overlay shin over the structure of our heart. I'll try and insert a picture here as well. Isn't that amazing? And David was a man after God's own heart. David died 3,000 years ago from 2030. Isn't that amazing? He times shin by a 10, that's 3,000. Shin, Al Shaddai. So there's that. And there's another one. I don't even remember where I saw this. I'm going to have a hard time finding this picture. I'm going to try. Do you know there's a plant that looks like a menorah? That looks like a lampstand? Hello, that's incredible. What? A plant that looks like a menorah? Yeah. And I think it grows in one of the mountains. Somewhere in Israel. I don't know. We gotta look. This is what we gotta do, folks. We're gonna backtrack now and just take her easy. We gotta learn Hebrew. We gotta learn Hebrew. We gotta learn Hebrew. We're gonna find our secrets and our truths in Hebrew. So let's start learning Hebrew. I know it's very hard to learn Hebrew because it seems like there's 5 or even more shapes to all the Hebrew letters. There's vowels. You got to put dots here. You got to put dots there. We have to get at least a basic understanding of Hebrew. That's number 1. Number 2, we have to learn our biblical history and prophecy as well. We got to get on top of that stuff too. And those are the 2 things that we've got to walk down. And number 3, we just have to be in our word. We have to be reading the Bible, because things will come back to memory. Even if you're just reading it, you're not really just heavily studying it. If you're just reading it, eventually it's going to catch up, and you're going to be like, whoa, I read that, and I know what's going on now because I read that. Okay, so we got to learn Hebrew. We got to learn biblical prophecy and biblical history, and we just got to read the Bible. We got to do that. Okay, so let's do that more together. And I will do some more videos of explaining what I just said in a more clear way. I know I just kind of threw information at you. But here's the nutshell. I hope Jesus comes very, very soon to rapture us before the tribulation. The second coming might be 2030. I do not know. We're running out of time for that to be an option, but I think this is super cool. I think we're going to find secrets, and he's going to give us hidden codes through his Hebrew language and his letters and his words. So let's learn together. Let's grow together. Let's watch together. And go, Jesus, go. See you in the clouds one day closer. Adios, muchachos. Bye.